Hi, and welcome to this lecture on operators. In this lecture, we are going to learn about comparison operators, logical operators, how we use them, and some common errors you might fall into. Okay, so let's open up our script editor. So in your viewport, press and hold the spacebar, and then select the panels, drop down, panel, and then go down to fifth up the script editor. Okay, let's clear our output window, clear history. What are comparison operators? So in Python, comparison operators are used to compare two values and return a Boolean value, true or false, based on whether the comparison is true or is false. And there are 6 comparison operators in Python. Okay. Now, before we get started, I'll be using a word which you might not have heard before, and it's called operands. So in mathematics, an operand is the object of a mathematical function. So a quick example here. So for example, when you add two numbers, okay, or you compare two numbers, let's do an add. Okay, these numbers are the operands. Okay, and the plus is the operation or the operator. Okay, so operands and the operator. Okay, now let's go back to our lesson. So we've got the equal to, or the equality check. Okay, this operator checks if the values of two operands or numbers are equal or not. If they are equal, it returns true, and if they aren't, it returns false. Inequality. Okay, we're going to check here for inequality. Okay, so if we've got a 1 and a 2, okay, they are not equal, so that will be true. Okay, this is going to check if something is not equal. Okay, and if they aren't, then this will return a true, otherwise false. Okay. Here we have the greater than operator. Okay, which checks if a value on the left operand or the left operand is greater than the value of the right operand. If it is, this returns true, otherwise false. Okay, less than. So this operator checks if the value on the left operand is less than the value of the right operand. If it is, it returns true, and if it isn't, it returns false. Greater than or equal to. Okay, this operator checks if a value on the left operand is greater than or equal to the value of the right operand, and if it is, returns true, and otherwise false. Less than or equal to. Okay, this is checking if the left operand is less than or equal to the value of the right operand, and if it is, it returns true, excuse me, and if not, it returns false. Okay, now there's one we've not talked about, but that is called the modulus operator. It's over here. Okay, valid syntax. It is, okay, until we put this in an equation. So let's say I equals 3. We are going to go I modulus operator equals 0. Okay, so in Python, the % sign is also called the modulus operator, and it returns the remainder of dividing one number by another. So when we write I modulus operator 2, we are dividing the value of I, okay, by 2 and getting the remainder. So let's see what we get here. We've got I equals 3. It's okay, initiate that. Now let's see what we get returned here. Okay, the result is 1. So we've got, if we put this to 5, okay, we would get 2 2s into 5, okay, and will leave us with, again, 1. Okay, so, all right, let's have a look now at the equality operator. Okay, this symbol is used for comparison, so we might want to have nothing left over when this equation is done. So we could use this to say, okay, every even number, if we've got an even number, then, okay, true. Okay, because there won't be anything left over now. Okay, we've got I equals 6. Okay, when we go I modulus operator 2, we get a 0. Okay, there's nothing left over. So 0 does equal 0. So it's true. Okay, we have checked if our item is an even number, and if it's not an even number, 7, let's initiate, then we will get false. Okay, so one way to check if a number is even or not. Okay, if the remainder is 0, I is an even number, because even numbers are divisible by 2 with no remainder. So the code inside the if statement will be executed when the I is an even number. So that's the best kind of operation or best use case for this. So these operators are commonly used in control flow statements, such as if statements, okay, loops, and other conditional expressions in Python. Okay, so let's move on. Talk about, okay, logical operators. Logical operators are used in Python to combine and manipulate Boolean values, so true or false, basically. Now, there are 3 logical operators within Python. We have got and, or, and not. Okay, so the AND operator returns true if both operands are true. So we have got essentially it's got to have anything on either side of this AND has got to be true for it to pass as true. Or, though, where it's a little bit different, returns true if only one of the operands is true. Otherwise, it returns false. So you could have, so for this, it's got to be true and true to get true. But, okay, if we have false, or fastly. Okay, but if we have false and true, we get false. Okay, but if we do the same now with the OR operator, sorry, with the OR logical operator, we will get the return of true, because it doesn't matter. It's got to be one of these. Is this one true or is this one true? Okay, and if something's true, then we'll get the response true. Okay. Let's make this look a little bit better. So let's say we've got foo, and foo equals 3. Now, is foo equal to 1 or equal to 2? False. It's not equal to either of these. But if it's equal to one of them, 1, then we'll get a true. But now let's write something that would never pass, but can, because foo cannot equal. We're not working with a quantum computer here. But okay, foo is 1, but if foo, does it equal 1 and does it equal 2? I'm going to take a stab in the dark here and go, no, false. Okay, it doesn't. Okay, so this would be a logical error, actually, that you have just put in here. Okay, you might type these in. I mean, I'm pretty sure I must have done this in the past, but where you have put an expression that can actually never pass because the condition can never be met. The expressions here will always return something which will not give you a true. Okay, so that's where you would, in this example, you could say, well, okay, is true 1 or 2. And if it's either of these examples, okay, then it'll give you true. All right, there's a quick little example. But now, not. The not operator, that returns the opposite of an expression. So if an expression is true, it returns false. If an expression is false, it returns true. So the best way to do it, so we are getting at the minute true. But we actually now, if we put not at the beginning, so if we might want to say if foo equals 1 or equals 2, if it doesn't equal this, then we do something. So if it doesn't equal either of these, okay, then do something. Okay, but now these were true, but now if we put the not in front, we get a false. So let's put this into a bit of a better context here. Let's use the not. So let's say we have a list. Okay, let's say foo now equals a list of, let's say we have 2 items. Let's say we have a box and we have a sphere. Let's go for a bit more of a kind of example here. Okay, so let's say we cycle through these items. So for item in foo, Remember, with these for loops, okay, we're cycling through the items within this list and assigning these items to the variable name of item. Excuse me, cough coming on tonight. Okay, so all right, let's say we want to do a check now. So we actually want to go through these items and we want to name them correctly. We want them with the suffix geo. So we could go, if these items do not end with, so we'll go with item dot ends with, okay, geo, then let's do something. Let's say item actually equals item plus geo. I'll do an underscore to make it readable. And then we will print the item, okay, below. Let's add something that is, let's say we've got one piece of geometry that is actually named correctly. And we'll go plain. What am I doing? Here we go. Geop. Okay, so let's get a list. Okay, so now let's cycle through all our items. And you see everything we printed out has come out named correctly. Okay, so if the item, we will get a true every time. For every item that has this at the end, we'll get a true. But we want to try and check the items that don't. So we go, if this item does not end with geo, okay, we've reversed the use case of our ends with functionality from the string class. Okay, which again, you can revert back to our string lecture if you are unsure or you can't remember this functionality. But we have then cycled through all of these items and then actually said, no, we want the item to be this name. Okay, so that is the use of our logical operators. Very useful. Okay, so let's have a look at the in other words. Okay, logical operators are often used in control flow statements, such as if-else statements to test multiple conditions simultaneously. They can also be used in Boolean expressions and other conditional expressions in Python. Overall, logic operators or logical operators are the fundamental concept of within Python programming, and they are used extensively to manipulate Boolean values and control program flow. So I definitely make sure you understand this lecture and run through it a few times. Have a play yourself, okay, just to make sure you understand these concepts. All right, now we will go on to how we use them.